begin our afternoon session with citizens affirming municipal taxation. Tax.
Afternoon.
Right, you'll introduce yourself.
Yes, Libby Butler with CAST, Citizens Affirming Sensible Taxation. Cool. Chairman, commissioners, thank you for letting me speak. I'm here to talk about the 3/4% tax that's being proposed. I have a few questions and some comments from our committee. The first question we have is with the memorandum of understanding our agreement. There's a couple of questions surrounding that we were just looking for answers if you have them. Our understanding is that if the MOU or MOA is to be changed, that it just is going to require the signatures of the commission to change how that tax is being allotted. We were wondering if it's possible that percentages, if the tax were to pass, that be locked for 4 years so that there won't be any changes made to how the distribution of funds goes. If EMS, the airport, or WRTA would be able to keep the funding that was allotted in the percentages of that MOU and not to be changed for 4 years. And if they wanted it to be changed, could it go back to the voters to decide if that was okay or not? No.
I think that's what it's.
I believe the understanding was that if there was to be any changes, it had to be a unanimous.
100%.
100% with the commission.
Well,
100.
with all the,
Oh,
you know,
All FCAG and all.
all of that has to be 100%.
Okay. Thank you. That wasn't super clear, so
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
That was one of my big beats.
Yes. Second, the biggest concern, I think, coming for me as a citizen of Du Bois and seeing Shoshone as well, is that we don't, at least in Du Bois, we don't have a WRTA route. We'll be having taxes collected from our citizens that will help fund an entity that does not provide services to our area. I don't know if there's a way. I think the way the state tax code is that if money's collected for a certain purpose, it has to be spent for that certain purpose. If that's my understanding. Is WRTA planning on starting bus routes to Du Bois? Does anyone
that's been
know?
my question all along.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And that's why I asked when he was here about Lander. Lander's the same way. There is very few, I don't know if they have any routes anymore, but I mean, all the routes are in Riverton.
Correct.
And so, in round way. But that's why I asked him that, is because of that same sending issue.
Yes. And so that was a concern that we don't have. Their services aren't available. to- Yeah.
Just within the.
Just within where there's,
Clusters.
clusters, and so, but the tax will be collected against the citizens of our area, so.
Well, the only other thing with that tax is the positive part, if there could possibly be, is that visitors coming here are also paying in that tax. So it's in everybody's tax. You know, they help pay because they do use our ambulances too, and they
They
use, so given that, I guess if I'm gonna look at something at the positive end of it, yeah, so as they come in, at least they're paying part of it too.
Correct.
We're not out here.
Doing it all on our own.
And then to add to that, yesterday I was just reading a report that, I believe it was the state of Wyoming, transportation department has cut all transportation type things like this in half.
I saw that.
So that's gonna really deplete their.
Understand. I think in doing a lot of reading and a lot of research on other things, but there are a lot of grants available for transportation.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot. Even if they were to transport, non-emergent people to doctor's appointments, or, I mean, there's all kinds of transportation grants out there, when you really look and dig deep into it. So, I feel like I understand that they're being cut, but I also bothers me that, the citizens will be taxed for something they won't be
Well,
really using.
if they so choose to do this.
Right, absolutely. And if it passes, or if it doesn't pass, I mean, so anyway, I'm just here to ask questions.
Sure.
Yes.
Do you have the MOU in front of you?
I do not.
Previously, we put in transportation, not WRTA.
Yeah, we put
we-
transportation.
Does it say transportation?
It should, because we did talk.
Because it says transportation. That can apply to senior citizens,
Oh,
transportation as well, and any other thing.
Any
Yeah,
other thing?
yeah, that does
So-
that.
okay.
I
Like
have to go back and
ground
look at it, I'm
transportation,
asking
not
because I don't remember, but that's what we did it the first time.
Yeah, I think we insisted that it would be.
Yeah,
ground
we
transportation.
That it be fitness grounds.
In the, Kevin, cut for WRTA, coming out of this whole state conversation is 26%.
It's 26%?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's worse in other parts of the state. So I don't know what that means yet. Oh, I just got a note.
Right,
Said it was
okay.
26%.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, distributed to everybody.
It's higher.
I just got it like yesterday.
What about,
Sorry about that.
White House also funds their service, aeronautics. Is that part of transportation?
I don't know.
But,
I didn't, it wasn't explicit.
When he was on?
It wasn't.
Okay.
It sounded like it was just ground, but I don't
I don't-
know.
I don't
You
wanna
really
assume
know.
anything.
Yeah, it's hard to say when you read it. Obviously, we still have concerns that EMS funding is tied to these other two entities on a single proposal and not split out separately.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Real quick. So
Oh,
it
you
says
found it.
15% will go to FCAG for ground transportation.
Okay.
So that doesn't mean WRTA
Okay,
completely. but-
completely.
But, thank you.
So again, I guess going back to if, let's say if this tax were to pass and Du Bois is collecting the money, and like Shoshone will be collecting money for EMS and Shoshone has their own EMS currently. Du Bois doesn't have WRT or ground transportation. Is there a separate way that they can spend the money that's collected, or does it have to sit in a fund? What happens to
It
it?
has to be put back in. It goes back into the whole fund, but not just separately being out.
Well, so if the 54% goes to ground ambulance,
Yes,
it says ground ambulance.
yeah.
I mean, I think we can have that discussion,
Mhm.
whether if Du Bois would start their own ambulance service, if their portion could go to that. I
Okay,
mean, we can have that.
have that discussion. It doesn't necessarily have to go back to Frontier
Well,
correct, or
because
to the state or whatever.
Shoshone just voted no,
Yes,
so.
yes. So, and I know our mayor asked that it come to the voters. We'll see what happens, but I kind of feel like that's probably gonna be a no too, but so good discussion that we could have from us. Standpoint.
And we've talked, I've
Okay.
talked to Pat about it
Perfect.
and told her that, I don't see why we couldn't figure out a way where they could get their share. To
Right,
pay for ground ambulance.
right. I guess then our second biggest question is have we thought about what happens if it doesn't pass, if the tax doesn't pass?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
In fact, we were going to have an ambulance budget hearing last week. And then we got notified by priority that the union employees wanted to renegotiate the contract. So, that's been put on hold, and I'll do. Mike and Commissioner Jones and I will have that discussion in executive session of what the outcome, and those discussions are not done.
okay,
So.
But aggravating.
no doubt.
Mr. Chairman. So I did have a conversation with Riverton and as it, thank you. As it applies to air service, their last and final move would be to try to pass a new municipal tax. So I don't know if that meant Riverton and Lander or Riverton, but that wouldn't fully fund it, but that would be their last ditch effort. Is they might take a shot at that, and they're concerned about the timing of that, but I think we're kind of in a wait and see. If it does not pass, it's good. I think it would be a hard sell to this group to try to take general fund dollars and fund the air service.
Mhm.
So I think the likelihood that that would die is pretty high. If the 3/4 doesn't pass,
Is the airport's not fully funded currently then? They're
not airport,
the
Air
air
service.
service.
air service, and
So
it's
the
60/40 with the state.
United service. is
The
that-
the subsidy is 60/40 with the state.
Okay,
So they have funded 60% of that MRG, and we've done 40%, much beyond that. I don't know, but it's. We don't have any general fund,
right.
that's a big number. So, and I don't know about WRTA, but with their budget being cut another 26% from the state, so, yeah, it's gonna be tough. We've always been, Mr. Chairman, we've always been committed to ambulance.
Mhm.
But can we continue to fund it? At the level it is through the general fund? Especially in light of the People's Initiative, which great timing from the state DOE. They decided not to certify residential taxes because of the 4%.
Mhm.
The timing is beautiful, so guess what happens? Means your property tax goes up right before that resolution hits November. And
Okay.
so, what are the chances of that? I mean, geez, good timing, guys. So anyway, we see all that happening, we just kind of wait and see. I
Right.
mean, it's not a pretty picture.
Yeah, I guess the other question that came up and we were unable to find an answer to, at least I wasn't able to find an answer to it. Are individual township, like a DuBois or Shoshone, are they able to form their own EMS district, or does the EMS district have to be countywide, or does anyone know?
They can form their own district.
Okay.
And in fact, Mr.
No, go ahead. They can't form their own, I don't know about district, not under the EMS law.
Right.
We can do.
You can do it, yes.
But they can fund a local ambulance if
Right.
their municipalities decides to do so.
It's like she's showing.
And my thought has always been, if they got that amount, that
Mhm.
if that tax passed and they didn't want to play with everybody else, they're not gonna get very much.
No,
They're gonna get less than they would if they stayed with us. But, yeah.
well,
Sorry.
and I know, I mean, the EMS up there is
So
sketchy at
to
best.
clarify, so
Yeah,
if, like Commissioner Jones said, if we can form a district,
mhm,
their funding opportunities are greater
They are.
through the Department of Health and the $41 billion they got.
mhm,
But there again, it all takes time.
mhm.
I mean, if we started 6 months ago, we still wouldn't be ready
Right,
by the first of the year after the tax proposal goes to the voters.
right,
So, you know, we've asked historically the board, municipalities and tribes for help, financial help with the ambulance, and they've all refused. So, what are we gonna do? Cut down services? I mean,
right. Well, and then that actually kind of leads into my next question, actually. The rural healthcare transformation program passed, and they have allotted $110 million the first year to EMS and critical access hospitals. And I just was wondering if the county had anyone looking into that to help try to figure out how maybe we could get the money for EMS with the hospital.
funny you should say that. Commissioner Jones and I and Sage West CEO are having meetings next week,
Perfect.
along with some folks, the Cody Regional Healthcare, and to see what we can get worked out. I mean, we only would have a week. If we only would have a week
Crunch
If our-
time.
Yes, no, I know. It's super crunch. Yeah.
if our negotiations don't pan out with the
Mhm.
current ambulance. Right.
Right. I spoke to Code Region yesterday, so I know,
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're great.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. So, there's two aspects of the rural transformation. One is the critical access fees.
Mhm.
If a critical access hospital were to put on a, ambulance service,
Mhm.
then they would be able to get a portion of that
Yeah.
fund. Sage West is not a critical access. And Riverton, they're not ready.
No.
And they wouldn't sign up for it anyway. They're just,
Right.
So, that portion of that fund is not, I don't think it's viable at all. The second piece is what they call the regionalization piece. And, in my conversations with the state health, Franz Fuchs, who worked on that bill, he thinks that we'd have an opportunity. And that's why the conversation with Cody Regional and even the new Cody Hospital CEO, who'd probably be at that meeting too, is to talk about, the regionalization piece. And, I would tell you that's gonna be politically charged, but Fremont County is large enough in public health's mind to call itself a region because it's so
Correct.
big.
Yeah.
But the critical piece would be the tribes. It would
Absolutely.
absolutely be the tribes.
It would be.
If we try to do that without the tribes, the state health would just, say,
Yes.
yeah, nice try.
Right.
So there's so much work
There is.
that has to be done, but that's one of our best funding opportunities that I see for us to pursue. And again, it's all gonna take time. So between here and the end of the year, I don't know. Like I said, we've always been committed at the county level to fund ambulance at some level.
Right. I appreciate that. I mean, as a person that works in the field, I appreciate you guys looking into that. The final concern that we had as a committee, quite honestly, came with the committee that FCAG formed to give the recommendations to FCAG about how to run the ambulance, or they were giving recommendations on how it should be run. And when I looked at the list of who's on that board, I was quite shocked to find that not a single one of those people work in EMS, nor have they ever worked in EMS, I don't believe. And I was just curious how it came that those individuals will be giving recommendations on how to run a service that they don't.
Know anything about?
Yeah,
Share with you. There is a frontier representative on.
I think she's in
She's been in every meeting.
Diane.
I can't remember her name. She's got a Grace Street.
Harlan, sound right?
Carol.
Carol.
It's Carol.
Okay.
So she's on that.
Okay, I find that it was rather interesting that was who was, we as a group found that, that they weren't looking outside, not, as far as I know, outside of that committee, no one has been asked what their opinions or thoughts were on how to run
Mr. Chairman, Kim Lee is also on that, who used to oversee, emergency services and ambulance here.
Okay,
So, and I know there's been reach out to several past directors, EMS. So that's not
Okay.
100%.
okay. We were just looking at what is put on the FCAG committees, on their committee.
It was pretty big.
It was very big. So,
Mr. Chairman, they just are finishing up an analysis of what the true costs to run an ambulance are. Jim's been able to look at the numbers. I can say compared to what we had from 2015 to 16, I would say they did an incredible job of identifying where all the aspects of costs are, including capital improvements and rising fuel costs. It's been an incredible analysis, and to get to this point, they've done a remarkable job. So, and they haven't made any recommendations yet. They have a hypothetical, this would be how we could improve the service. And I think that's based on the fact that they did receive a lot of feedback that people said, well, you want me to pass a text, so I want to see if the service could be improved.
right,
So, they've done the work to do the analysis, say, this is how you could do it. Could be some sort of a hybrid model where you still, fund the ambulances that you have now, but then do voluntary, which is kind of it's kind of a similar model to how solid waste does it. So they have these remote volunteer services to handle that, and it cuts down their expense immensely. So they're looking at an avenue there, and I think it's, I commend them. I was at the last meeting and went over those numbers,
Mhm.
and, it's done a remarkable job, actually.
I spoke to Chris Conja a little bit about it, and some of his ideas, were interesting. I will say that it still sounds like, this is me speaking as a community member in Du Bois, that Du Bois will not necessarily be fully staffed all the time, that they will set an ambulance at Diversion Dam, and we'll use that ambulance for other areas, so. Just something, I'll be curious to see what they put out in their report, so. I think that's it. I had some questions and comments about what we have been hearing, so thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You bet. Thanks for coming.
Yes.
Julie.
The chairman, commissioners, this is my final leg of my SLC stuff. I finally got my evaluations for finance department. So the first one that I want to talk about is a person who's been in our office. I don't have the years on here, but like 12 years, I think. And the level that that person is at is pretty close to where it needs to be. I just needed to increase it by $1,000 at this time. Going through the evaluation, just to give you some ideas of why she's moved up, is has been able to handle AP for the county and new offline boards, and has trained the other employee to be just as helpful to doing that as well. So consistently performing tasks at a higher level, yes, most all of that's true. The credit card takes a lot of time to complete, and this person is excellent at doing that. And we're going to be moving into a different way of doing that so that it's more transparent on what those credit card charges are at a glance, so you don't have to look through them. And although I haven't explained that to this employee, hopefully it's much easier for that person, and it's similar to what this person does already. And so that information that they're putting together would be good. So the job description in there, and I apologize, mine wouldn't print, so that let me type on these, so I had to write over these so they don't look very good. That the level 1 is 42,204, level 2 is 46,127, level 3, 51,651, which is quite a jump. I believe that this person has moved from level 2 to level 3. Would like to see this person in level into the 25 percentile. This is the 10 percentile, but I need to have more cross training happening in this department for that to happen. And what is the risk of losing an employee? I guess really hard to lose any of those employees upstairs right now. They do work very independently and accurately, and they're doing a lot with the audit. And so I appreciate that. So that's the first one. The second one is, so my newer person up there has come a very long way. Would like to go from 43,000 to 49, making it similar to this one because I feel like the jobs are pretty close right now. So when this person started, they were doing basic jobs and has grown to be able to finish all of the county and offline board APs, and has done a lot of the calculations and review of the ARPA and LATC for me. I really have not had to do much of that anymore. That person is doing all of that, keeping that all caught up and gets to the auditors. Learning fixed assets and signing up new employees, those are all new tasks. Again, moving kind of more into where this person is. And let's see, so again, the levels are 42,204, 46,127, and 51,651. I want to put them at the same level, so 49 makes that moving from between 1 and 2 to closer to 2 to 3. this is similar to other departments, the treasurer's office. This person's been with us for, I think they said 8 years. Again, we would have no backups. We have no backups right now. The two of those in AP back up really well. But to go to payroll, I really don't have a backup right now. Still like to work on that to see if it's possible for either one of these ones to cross-train with that. The final one is the person who takes care of all of that for me upstairs, and that is our financial coordinator. Currently still in the 10th percentile. This person does have an accounting degree and has been cross-training and supervising these two employees and has taken a great deal of time in doing this. Also doing a lot more of the audit than used to, really does the finalization of all of our fixed assets on our side. We work with the treasurer's office on that. And so I'd like to move this one into the 25th percentile, going from 60,000 to 63. Actually, it's not quite into level one of 25%. Has really grown in this position, been here over 25 years. Again, when we have, this is the payroll side of things, this person has told me so much about how payroll has changed recently in our evaluation discussions, and anything we do anymore, it seems like nothing is simple. We caused that audit last year of the Wyoming retirement system by letting everybody backtrack and do some of that. And she didn't say a word. She just did it and let me know later that, yeah, we're going to have an audit on it, but does not complain about that at all. Again, would like to have her help a little bit more in training new people, or if decides at some point she doesn't want to be here, definitely would want to probably get another person very similar to this education in that position. It's also helped me. So those are my three. Again, she filled out all of the communications for each one of our staffers, and then we discussed with her, not discussed with my employees yet until until this is approved.
Questions, commissioners?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
So the first one, that person's just been here longer
Yes.
and, yeah, other than that, I think that, what you laid out here is reasonable. Nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else? Motions to be made.
Chairman, I move to approve the 3 SOT adjustments for financial assistant, financial associate, and financial coordinator, the clerk's office, and the levels recommended by the county clerk.
Been moved and seconded to approve the recommended SOC adjustments as recommended as given to us by the county clerk's office. Further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Billy? Jill?
Chairman, the crowd is gone.
Yeah.
Good night. I mean, this isn't exciting as illicit material, apparently.
Right. Yeah, pick off when Billy said it.
Just saying.
That's the note I got.
All right. Good afternoon, commissioners. I'm here for my OC adjustments for my department. I got 5 that I'm proposing to move up in levels. Whether they're went from level 1 to a 2 to a truck driver to a blade operator, and so on, or 2 level person moved up level 3. On top of that, if you look at this sheet here, I would like to, I don't know how I want to word it, move up into the 25th percent with my whole crew, up to the 50% to get 2 competitive wages, if that makes sense.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
So can I have you explain this a little bit. So let's just take the top line, 523. The employee 523. Oh, no, forget that out. Take that one. Let's go down to 244, road maintenance 2. Okay, so currently at 55,000. Why the 2 cells?
Okay, current. Does yours not say that?
No, it says proposes in yellow and you have 2 boxes yellowed.
So we're,
Why 2 boxes? It's right there. Why 2 boxes?
Because I'm
Which
in-
one are we picking?
So that employee, so that classification level 1, 2, or 3, that would be level, the high level of 2 to the 3. So does that make sense?
No.
Commissioner.
Okay, so currently at 55,000. And then the 2 yellowed out squares which are proposed, because you've got that highlighted as proposed.
So
Which one is it?
it's in between those two.
So what is it?
So the proposed is the 55.
But
The current,
that is 50. What's the current?
the current is, and you should.
So it's not on
have
this
that
sheet.
spreadsheet.
That's why I'm confused.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. You want me to make a copy of these?
No,
for you?
then we'll just have to go through each one of these individually rather than just look at the sheet and be able to.
So, I mean, we can make a copy, we'll put, so you've got it. And go back.
Well, it's up to the other commissioners. I was just trying to be unconfused.
Right. And
I'm sorry, okay,
and that confused me, what sheet you have.
okay, yeah, I thought that first column was current, and it's not. That's the actual proposal. And that's why those 2 are in columns. Now I get it. Now I understand it, but. Okay,
Can you go make a copy of this first? Would it be easier for you guys?
no, if everybody's got it now to understand the sheet,
Okay.
just me, sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Billy.
Okay, and that's kind of where I'm at, if that makes sense now to you guys. For the whole department and testing 5 guys also with the SOC adjustments.
So are you wanting to increase the base level, the starting wage?
Correct. That as well as adjusting all my guys from that are in the 10% up to the 25th percent. And some of my guys have been here longer, get them closer to that 50%, if that makes sense.
Okay, let's go with, wrong, I have them, I can list. So, Commissioner.
Sure. So, for example, I'm getting confused, because you have Frank Stewart. They have different allocations. Which is one of them?
Frank Stewart would be the lander.
Was the one who evaluated.
Yeah, he's one that did
Doesn't have his
evaluation,
name.
just the foreman.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, it says foreman. Road maintenance 3, and it says 49, 59.58, and then 49.57. Which one?
So the person making the request is Frank / Billy.
Yeah.
So there's 3 different people here.
Okay.
And if you look actually at this next page,
Okay.
at the top, so that will say the names,
All
but
right. I didn't
we understood that we weren't all we weren't supposed to use names, which is why we
No, I saw that.
did this the way we did it. Sorry.
No, I saw that both Billy and
Okay,
Frank, the other, but I didn't get like, if it was like 3 different people or 3. Okay.
so just to make it seem things simpler, let's go with the Frank Stewart, Billy Meeks SOC adjustment request. So we're not shuffling from one side to the other.
Yeah, yeah, cause it's, yeah, there's the other ones too.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so we'll those out first.
This employee current rate of pay is 46,600 and annual increase amount of 55. Wow.
Correct, Mr. Chairman, that's, I know it sounds like a lot, I'm just trying to get my guys to the 25th percentile of where we should be.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
you said 50%.
25, 250.
250.
250, yeah,
From 20.
correct, out of the, and at least into the 25th percentile, and that's what it brings it up to, according to the SOCs where we should be.
So, Mr. Chairman, okay, so the 25 and the 50% are based on our northeast, right?
Correct.
It's not statewide, it's northeast.
It's Wyoming. It's just.
It's just Wyoming. And so we're in the 25 percentile. And you're saying we're not competitive. Can you? Because a lot of our folks are in the 25 percentile, right?
We're not currently in the 25 percentile. That is our proposed.
That's why it's a.
Right.
So I'm looking. This one, I think you guys are working on this sheet. And it doesn't have the percentile.
Right. That should have been in your package, she's making.
This is from my back.
Oh,
Okay. This is the one. It just doesn't have, it doesn't have.
So in the proposed 2027 column, that's the number they want it to go to, I think.
On this sheet.
Yeah, and then over in percentiles, 25 and 50, you'll see the yellow. And so like for the one that is, under form, let's see, and the first road maintenance person. The ones that scan across something, so are like the road maintenance, number 244, right? Road maintenance 2, they want 55,000, which is between level 3 at 25 and 50 percentile. That's why they put it, I do the same thing, I go across the two, like I've told them they don't have to be each one of those numbers, it can be a number in between there, so I think that's what they're trying to tell you, is that the issue that we're maybe? Because I think, I don't know where it was from, but the 2 is 27, it looks like.
I have that one.
I just don't know what the previous one was, and if you look at each individual ones, I guess.
Yeah, okay, and so I want to relate this back to. So this is 47 and. I like the Germany.
It's probably going to go to the second city.
Questions? let's go back to the plan about the SOC adjustments for the lander side. First one I have is road maintenance 2, 46,6.
368.
Okay. 312.
Number 312.
I don't know, I'm looking at this.
That's 312.
Chairman, if I may, say
Yeah.
something. I think the reason that you're seeing the big jumps that scares all of us is the fact that Billy is trying to get his bottom number up. So from right now, the bottom number is 41.3 is the starting wage for, and we're not attracting, I don't know, we're not getting qualified CDL applicants. So we're trying to compete with the state, the other construction companies around here.
The city.
The cities, I mean, we're trying to compete with several. And so we're trying to move that to the 45.
So the starting wage is 41,503, correct?
No,
Right now, it's 41,300,
And you're trying to get it to 45,
and we're
Correct.
trying to get to
45.
45.
or 45, yes.
So how many of those do we have? 1, 2.
2 out of,
Or 3.
he was talking, are you talking, Mr. Chairman, Lander or your
Well,
Lander?
well, it doesn't matter, we'll just.
on this list, if we're trying to get them to 45, there's only 2 on the roll.
Three.
Oh, I see. Never mind. But my mind was focused on the highlighted.
So, Mr. Chairman, there's only 2 you're trying to get to 46, 45, and then everybody else at level 1 is gonna go up to 47. Right?
Correct.
47, 230.
Yep.
And just because they have more experience?
Correct.
Okay.
Lander was a truck driver, moved into a blade,
Okay.
but not quite a level 3
Okay.
blade hand. Yeah.
Whoever's blading Atlantic City, that would be.
Correct.
They're doing a great job.
And Mr. Chairman, again, without moving my 1025 up to my 50%, he has nowhere to move up.
Okay. Understood.
He's maxed out at level 3.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
so all right, the total increase from a salary point of view of this whole plan. And you're shifting, I get everybody shifting up, trying to get your bottom up. It's 178, 830 and 64, but that's not fully loaded. That's not with fringe, right?
That is
That
what,
is
That is with fringe, so
It
it's
is.
178?
yep,
Okay, I'm done.
yep.
I get it. You can all pitch up.
Thank you.
Sorry. It's the afternoon.
We're all.
Throughout the year, I'm down 2 or 3 employees all year, so. We currently still have 2 vacants. And if we're worried about dollars, I hate to say it, I'd sacrifice an employee to help make up some of the huge difference. I hate doing that, but my guys need paid too.
Probably just got the back pretty much.
Right, exactly.
Any questions on the base salary increasing from 41 to 45?
Ocean Harbor.
Hmm?
I mean, I know what the cost of this is, the pay scales.
And Mr. Chairman, if you guys want some more paperwork now to get back to you or whatever. Maybe.
Okay, so is there a motion to be made on the entire presentation?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I move that we, approve the recommendations from the roads department to shift their folks up and get the bottom up from 41 to 45.
Second,
And moving second to increase the SOC adjustments as recommended by Transportation Department Superintendent and Admin Office Manager, excuse me. Further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you. Sorry, it was.
I should move this stuff at 5.
I need to stop and.
Right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Amanda.
that's all.
That's wrong.
Okay, well, that would be. Okay.
Yeah, you know.
What the heck?
Here, this is all.
Was
This
it,
is different
is
than
it different than this?
it does have, some more information added
Okay.
to it. But I wasn't sure if you guys would have the SOC adjustment. So. Mr. Chairman. So today I'm coming for an SOC adjustment for two of my staff members. One of them is an entry level staff member at the 10%, that's at the top of the packet. This person has done a wide variety of growth in the current field and has the ability to manage most of the caseload that's required of them at this time. They are implementing policies, procedures, continuing on. We have done employee evaluations, and they are still growing in the idea of the legal world. The complex thing about the clerk of district court office is that I don't have one specialized area. So it's not just a criminal clerk, it's not just a civil clerk. I'm requiring my employees to know all of the case types and what's going into them. So it's an abundant amount of knowledge. The caveat to this too is the idea that the people that I would be compatible with are in the judicial branch, and it is like the circuit court clerk. So I did attach to your guys' packet I just gave you the Wyoming judicial branch classification structure, and I tabbed the page in which the clerks are qualified within that pay range. And if you see the pay range minimum for just an entry level clerk is $50,149. Ideally, we're not going to probably get up to there, but I do need to be reasonably competitive. And the clerk that I speak of right now has been in the position for 2.5 years and has completed all the tasks that I need them to in the 10% levels. What I am asking for is for an increase of $6,000 to get that up to $48,000. Not quite living or proceeding on to the 25% level, but close enough to an entry level clerk at which if this person did apply for that type of a position would be more than qualified at this point to receive that position.
That would bring them into the 25%.
It's close to it. It's right butting up to the 25 percentile. On the back page of this, the 25 percentile, in what we have is starting out at 48,190. So it's 190 less than that 25%. Considerably thinking we do have to think of, everyone's agencies as a whole. In your previous SOC adjustments, you've heard that, you know, there's that need to stay competitive. My thing is I require so much, and it does take such an advancement to understand the complexities that go behind the processing of the complex legal record. That I not only feel this is a bottom level of what entry level would be with the circuit clerk. However, they've also earned their skill set and have moved towards the different requirements that I place upon them in that entry level. So that would be the first clerk. The second clerk that I'm asking for an SOC adjustment for, this employee has been with the office 9 years, but has 13 years of clerking, specifically court clerking experience. This person currently sits right in the midst of the third level of the 25%, but I'm asking for $5,000 to get them up to the higher level of that 25%, close to what the 50% level would be. However, if you go to the top page of the judicial branch, I've highlighted the circuit court chief clerk 1 position. Their starting wage is $65,000 and can go up to $82,000. To be very honest, this person has all of the experience, knows all of the systems, and very well could willingly walk out my door any day for better opportunities. So my goal here is one of two things. A, to compliment my staff for doing the incredible work that they do and being able to manage what we do manage, but also make sure that they're valued in the same position that they could leave me, and I couldn't even bat an eye at the fact that they have this experience and knowledge that is not something that you could just learn. It takes field work to be in.
Questions? Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the SOC recommendations from the clerk of the court for entry level deputy clerk and jury clerk deputy as recommended.
Been moved and seconded to approve the recommended social adjustments by the clerk of court. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you very much for your time today. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Yeah. Mike, I guess.
No. Oh, here's my question. Oh.
Huh?
This is something other.
Sorry.
Full session or executive session?
Executive case was 2:30.
Cause I
Oh.
didn't have Mike Hutchinson down.
That's why I asked. Mike, did you need something?
No, that's just out for the budget work session.
Oh.
There. We're gonna have an executive. Oh, but we do have this one while they're here, I guess. Could ask the question. before we go to
Then we'll
executive
go
session.
into executive session.
You wanna do this first?
Yes.
Okay.
There is a request to rehire, Hyden, this was in your packet, and didn't get it printed in the. Yeah. For the sheriff.
The sheriff's department.
I did see that.
So commissioners, what that is during our budget hearing in May, we had brought in our budget message that we would like to hire an additional position into the kitchen detention. So that we have 3 full-time cooks and then the manager position to oversee the cooks. As of right now, our manager is also a cook, so there's a little bit of overlapping and not quite enough coverage when it comes to people being sick or taking vacation. So the detention center is requesting another cook position.
So this is an additional position.
Yes, sir. And there is possibility down the line, that the management position would become part-time versus full-time. Yes.
With that,
And this was included in our budget. It just didn't get addressed specifically, and we noticed that later that we hadn't addressed this additional position specifically. The numbers are already in the budget, it's my understanding. We just didn't address this addition of a position, individually.
questions, commissioners? Maybe that's in their current budget.
Yes, ma'am.
It's generally taking her for
42,400.
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes,
motion to approve this request to hire a new position of cook kitchen staff at the salary range of 42,400. Full-time position.
been moved and seconded to approve hiring a position, and an additional cook for the detention center. Further discussion, Commissioner? Yeah, go ahead.
I got it answered.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passed. And with that, we need to go into executive session for potential litigation and personnel.
Thank you, commissioners.
I need a motion.
Move to go into exec.
Second.
We move in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Be dismissed, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Can I be dismissed?
Lucky.
Don't use that word. Dismiss. Take care, Nick.
See ya.
Holy moly.
Well, Ron, what you should do, what you should ask, or what you should work on is getting in a full custodial department and then contract out for maintenance. That would drop your salary range to one where they're not gonna worry about making less than what they're making now because they're gonna, custodial fees are less, or then you just contract maintenance.
Mr. Chairman, so we have to finalize the budget today. I have to advertise so that we can do our budget on the 30th, unless for some reason you want to make your change of when you do your budget hearing and all that a week into July. So those are options for you. But I do want to tell you what I have done thus far of what you've seen. So health insurance has been changed on all budgets and all positions. Unless no benefits, we'll have a placeholder amount, so even if they don't take the insurance, we used to have that smaller amount just for the death benefit. And to make it easier on all budgets, so if I lose somebody who didn't have insurance and the next person wants insurance, that's a $23,000 hit to your budget. Everybody has health insurance as just part of it, so it's called a placeholder. So I did make all those changes, which is included in here. Bonds for all the elected officials, we found those out after a couple of us had budget hearings, so all of those have been added into the budgets, including, so the three that there were was yours, mine, and clerk district court, I believe. Yes. Oh, no, corner. So those three buckets were adjusted for that. Current rental payments from the treasurer's office are included in every budget. That was whatever they bought last year and they were making payments on. We updated the county attorney on his transfer to VOCA from his department. I see it was still at 54,000. And remember, they had like a new person that came on board that they were allowed to. So now the transfer from the attorney's budget to that is 94,976. We updated updated Sage to cast and new services. Oh, so she did give you her new plan for JTC. That is not in here. Where it's down to like a half a person and her salary's out of there.
Right.
I did take her salary out of there for sure, but none of her personnel in there have changed. Thank you. And so that is something that should be under the bottom piece that we still have to decide for her what you want to do. Indigent care used to be that we were paying for those folks at the hospital that are indigent. And that we finished that payment last year. We had $300,000 in our budget. And so I just put in 4 indigent burials. I asked Emma how many we had last year or the current year. Told me 3. I just added another one just in case. So that went from 300 and some odd thousand down to 600 or 6,000. Statutory medical, I decided to leave it at the 250 that we're going to end at this year, we hope. Ambulance, we updated, Jim updated the 250,000 and guessed at the service need about $2 million for that one. We added a 1690 account for overall county rental line item. Remember, we talked about his postage machine and who should carry that. So we put the postage machine and your pool cars. We took it out of your budget because that doesn't make sense why your budget would go up when everybody uses the pool cars. So we just moved those over to a 1690 account. The assessed value that I had gotten the most recently from Assessor Berg was the 700 and 7 million. 7 million. So probably 7,729,810,318. 7,729,000,000 for that. $810,318. So she had given us that as her most recent one before all of this other stuff was going on, and I used the most updated revenues projections that the treasurer had. Now, what we need to decide is a couple people had asked for things in their budgets. So first of all, let's go, before we do that, let's look at what I gave you here, a couple pieces of paper that I did give you. One is what everybody had last year on our major funds. I didn't put in like our grants and stuff and those, but these are major 12 mil funds. So what they got last year and what they, before SLCs today, obviously, and what they're currently making now. So just so you can kind of look and see what that is. I've also been working on this week when I worked, it took way longer than I thought it was going to, but I do have each one of the budgets figured as how much they intended to spend this year. What I looked at when I went and did the fund balance carryover, and that is basically how much money was in everybody's budgets and all the budget hearings that we did, and then how much I think they'll spend. You don't have a copy of that, but what I did on that one was I did that 98. Anyone? Are you in the budget?
Oh, yeah.
Never mind, never mind, it's okay, I just need to see. So what we did for folks there, the fund balance update, is I pretty much put everybody at 98% spent. Which one do you need, this one?
Yes. I don't know that one.
So what I did is 98% of everybody spending their budget. Those I knew who were gonna be super close or super far off, I did adjust those. Jim and I'd like to go over those again before we actually finalize the budget as we get closer to paying all the bills that we're gonna have. So with that, that gave us about 483,000. That is a carryover right now just from that estimate.
Numbers from what?
And that's from what everybody had for budget and any budget hearings that they had. And then how much I think they're gonna spend. Most people, I put it at a 98% spend, which is probably overkill, but everybody's budgets really have looked really well this year. I mean, I've only brought you the few that I think that are going over budget and recently, so I'm not thinking anybody else is gonna go over. Other places to look at what we did. Jim and I then took yesterday and went back over these because I was freaked out that I'm gonna miss something, but so we do still need to adjust depending on what you do with the JTC. The amount of money that the county has to pay is listed at 93,000, which if we're gonna go to the new plan that she presented here, it's gonna be less money and we'll have to work that out with her. What I did in cash reserves is, yes, we have dipped into the cash reserve, but I put it back to what it was last year, meaning would backfill it to where it was last year, just so you know. So I don't have it at negative from all the stuff we took out of it this year, which was about, and looking at the finance reports, it looked like 380 some thousand we maybe took out of there. I always just put it back to where I think we want to be. So that's always what you want it to be. We started with 7 million and then we added the extra that we were able to save last year. And that's why it is at 8.3. So about 1.3 we socked away for in case we had another bad year. The SOCs, I think that's been working pretty well. We hardly use it, honestly, because it seems like we wait till the end of the year for one thing. But I'm gonna put it back in unless you don't want it there. The mineral stabilization is now at 5,480,231. What happens on that one is every year we are taking out $685,028 because we wanted to put it across the same time frame as those people had to pay it. And that was that extra money that most of the mineral industry had put into the budget or into the payment of their taxes. So instead of just using that all up and then wondering where the heck it is 11 years from now, we did it over, I think, a 10-year period of time, right? 10 or 11. Inventory and prepaid, these are. Right, Jim can explain more of what all the inventory and prepaid we have.
Yeah, so for basically the general fund, you know, all of our health insurance that is paid at the end of June is actually paying for health insurance for July. So it's July coverage, so that's considered a prepaid expense. So we do some funky stuff in the general ledger to show that as a prepaid expense. That's the bulk of that. We had, like last year, we had $350,000. Probably 325, 330 of that was health insurance. That'll likely, that'll be the same this year, a little bit more than that, of course. And then, the only other things that we have in there, in the general fund as far as inventory items or prepaid items, we do have prepaid postage. Julie has title inventory. I've got temp tag inventory. I think that's pretty much it. So those, between those inventories and prepaid postage, that's maybe another $20,000 to $25,000. So I expect that amount, we probably want to adjust that up a little bit once we have a good idea what the health insurance is.
The next line is capital revolving funding. So we put that in last year, not sure how much we might have to infuse into budgets. Looking at the capital revolving requests so far, we haven't met yet. We doubt we're going to get it done before we end this budget season for, for next year. The departments that likely will get something, their budgets are usually to the point that they could handle an uptick in their budget for capital revolving. So if you don't want to put 65,000 or any money in there, we can either add it to the reserve or just erase it and it would make your budget look better. So that's one you can also consider. Over on the other side, these are on the second page, by the way. On the rental payments, that's where I talked about that, moving the rental payments for the pool cars and the postage machine. Audit fees, we put 68,000, did talk to the auditors by email today. It's really like 66.7. I can drop it to that number, but I thought 68 in case something happens if we need something.
When are we gonna get a report on that? Soon?
Yeah. I don't know exactly. It's still in progress, so.
Service agreements, this is, I have not reached out to Comtech. I don't usually have a lot of good luck on them. I have not reached out to Lindsay to see if that's something she does now, but the radios contract and then the postage machine, I've left it where it is from last year. We think the first year of the postage machine would be free or on warranty or whatever.
This year, the maintenance on the postage machine will be included in the purchase price. We will still have a meter rental and software licenses, I believe, that may not be covered. So that's around $1,000, little over $1,000, I think, for the two of those things.
And we will check in with, before the budget hearing to see from Comtech if they're gonna increase it. They don't usually increase it very much each year. Insurance and bonds, those are LGLP, warm, fire suppression, and cyber insurance. Honestly, I have to say LGLP might have been a little bit lower. It's $109,112. Warm, I also think was down a little bit. Again, that's one of those things that my staff do upstairs is they're constantly taking out equipment that we get rid of and putting in the new stuff. And so that might be helping there. 157,214. Fire suppression also was down significantly. I think it was 22,000 last year and it's 17,157. Just scary on a year like this, huh? Cyber insurance went way up. It was something like 18,000, 16,000. We're getting a break this year because it was so high, but it won't be a break next year. Cyber insurance does cover all of Fremont County. Well, I don't know if it covers the offline boards, but us here at the county, which includes the sheriff's office. I did send them over the requirements of what they have to be doing to make sure that that matches what we're paying for. So I have not talked to them, but I sure would like to have IT sometime maybe as a big group, come together and make sure we're all doing all the things that matter for our cyber insurance. So with that said, if you left everything where it is right now, with the budgets that were presented, we have right now 1,000,000. Big glasses, 1,629,000. What does that say? 666.
629.
666. Okay, so the things that we needed to decide is the county clerk asked you if she could get an SLC program that helped with compensation. If we can get that by the end of, or lock that in by the end of this year, which would be at the budget hearing, it would be 14,000 for this year. It would do what Emma has done, but it keeps it up. It will update all of the stuff. It is something that I can send out to all departments. The only worry that I have right now about that is that they can go in and change stuff. So I need to know what that is about. So I really liked that system. That would help us kind of keep, since we are really trying to do a robust SOC program and it changes all the time. I don't want to screw somebody up because we don't have the most updated stuff when they need it. So that was a request I had. I also asked you about if you want another time card system. I did look at the Paycom. It looks like an entire payroll system, which I already have a payroll system. And I do know this particular one would work with Cassell. So those are two things that I had asked about. For sure, I'd really like the SLC program, the time card system. I would like to have, but I've not been very successful with the couple that I've tried, so I'm a little bit wary, but, and it doesn't have to, you wouldn't have to give me the money necessarily. If you wanted to see a demo of that one and help me out with that to see if that's something you would like, we certainly could do that.
I'd like to give a presentation, see how it goes, see what it looks like, and see if it's worth pursuing rather than jump into it and say, oh,
Yeah, that's
this,
not gonna work.
this is not gonna work.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the SLC program is the only one that I've vetted it pretty well, but that's up to you guys.
What's your thoughts on the SAC program? Yes, Commissioner Jones.
Keep it.
Try it at least.
Yeah.
I keep it. I think, I know it's kind of clunky. We wait till the end, but.
No, this is new. This would be new.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
mean, Emma's done all the work on that, but this would help her.
Oh, the
it keeps it
software.
up. The
I'm
software
sorry.
keeps it up. Yeah.
I thought
So-
but yeah, I'm good with that.
If in March, somebody came in
Yeah,
and needed to update, you wouldn't have to go have her try to figure out how to update it. It does it for
I
us.
remember now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with
Okay.
it.
All right, thank you for that one. We'll get a demo on the time cards later. The treasurer suggested a bond amount for him and his deputy. When in getting all of our new bonds at the $100,000 level, we noted that the treasurer's has to be different. So I put that on Jim. So he offered one for at least 250,000 coverage. And we just need to know if you're okay with that number.
Yeah, so the statute reads, and I'm paraphrasing here, that the commissioner set the bond for the treasurer. So it doesn't really stipulate amount. Most all the other elected officials are at $100,000. It did say if the commissioners do not prescribe an amount, then they recommend 125% of the taxes collected, which is a lot. And it's not clear whether they mean taxes collected for the county, like under the 12 mills, or if they mean every tax dollar that passes through my office. Being, whether we keep it or we distribute it to other entities. So that would be many millions of dollars for a bond amount. I did a poll of the other treasurers around the state and didn't get a response from everybody, but it ranged on the low end of $75,000 for a bond up to the $250,000 for a bond. And so from a budget standpoint, I took a guess at $250,000. But that is
great.
Yeah. And so I can't say, it seemed like there was a cluster of them right around $100,000. So
Your thoughts, 250,000 less.
200. Maybe 199.
maybe $199.50.
When one's going twice.
Commissioner Thomas.
250 is pretty high.
Yeah, I think
Can we come up with a lower number?
Well, Commissioner Jones said 200.
200.
200.
Seems very high though.
200, 200 is.
All right.
Okay, so. Jim will give me a minute.
Do we need a vote on that?
I don't think so.
It's just. Okay. You'll have to approve the bond when it comes to.
Right, now we'll start in January
Okay.
with the new office.
So as we know, the phone system, we were supposed to all get that put in our budgets for our phones, but not everybody has phones still. I don't even know where the phone project is anymore. I haven't heard from Dean since the last meeting we had, so I don't know if, anyway, the long of the short of it is, everybody who had phones in their budget, I'm gonna take it out. I haven't done that yet. Just so that we're all, and I saw in the ISS budget that they had, it looked like they were taking care of the phones. So that's what I wanna do, is just leave it the way it is right now until we figure that out.
Commissioner Thomas, have you heard anything from Dean?
Chairman reached out, he was, had Amos reach out too. The only thing that always comes up is that Dean seems to be on the outs or something, and then the one, the owner
Justin.
is always on the East Coast. So it's like we can never, I said, we need to meet and let those messages with them, and no return response at all.
Justin is planning on being in here next Tuesday for the meeting for an update.
Okay.
We'll need to have him go over the budget too, include his budget, but I don't know what it, I mean, Kevin worked on it, I know, but I don't know what it all means. I just put it in. So it's how he sends it to me. Okay, the next one is district court. As we recall, he talked about moving juror compensation from $30 a day to 50. With you guys, also talked about 50 cents, and we talked about that we have gone to different directions for like the election judges to the IRS amount. And so those are still hanging. It just says, consider these. So I don't know if you want us to have him calculate, or if you're interested in that, or leave it alone.
I think $50 a day is pretty cheap. Yeah. From $30 to $50, still cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we, the mileage, my thought is that, you know, these potential jurors, whether they're picked or not, they'll still have at least one trip down to interview. Yeah.
Well, this is really weird, because his juror and witness fees is $30. I don't think he meant that. I mean, like, total. I think that's right. Okay. So is there a thought that let him go to 50 and have him fix that? Because that doesn't look right.
Go to 50 and let him fix the mileage. Or go with the recommended mileage as well.
Because he's doing 50 cents a mile right now, which is the county's amount. Okay,
Go with his recommendation.
Different than the county?
yes. Because he said he was only using what the county allows, and then I said, well, we did ask you for the election judges to move that up to, actually, I think it's at 67 cents. I don't know what Margie gave us this last time, but it's higher than what the county's was to try and kind of help people.
Okay.
Okay, so I can have him read anyway, what he has. It's a good thing I looked at that, because I don't think he really meant $30. So I'll ask him to refigure that at the new rates.
Commissioner,
Yeah, we were at what, 68%, 80% a mile, now we're at 72.
no,
We are at 60 and 50.
60 and 50. Boy, 60 if you
60
use your own car, 50 if you decline to use it.
Miles on mileage.
Fifty a day,
He was, yeah, I think he.
okay, and then and then he asked for 72 up to 72.
Yes, they may, when I went back through our minutes, that's where I came up with this, so, that we talked about.
Okay.
So I could ask him to refigure that for us as an estimate. Okay. Just, and I don't know what you want to do with this one, but the assessor has been talking to you about Eagle View for $953,760 for a 5-year plan. I know there was some questions in the minutes that she was maybe gonna look for grants and partners and all that stuff, but it's not gonna cover the whole thing. So I didn't know if you want her to throw that through the capital revolving and put it again as one of those 1690 accounts, or any thoughts, or you want to think about it later?
I thought it was going to be like dividing between those who were inclusive, use that system. I thought that's what we would look at.
It did say she was gonna research that, but I just, maybe that's something down the road that we want her to bring back, I think.
Well, we could ask him to take the front capital revolving, which would give her more time to decide how division would be split up.
See if she knows anybody that's talking about, okay. And I'll say, and supporters or whatever. Okay,
If I may interject here, so that amount, let's see, I guess I could look at some piece of paper. And is that the total or is that per year? Oh, so it's.
Per year is $190,752.
Okay, so if we run it through capital revolving, I mean, eventually the rental payments are gonna be what we are gonna pay in an annual year anyway, because, you know, each flight is gonna have a 5-year, 5-year life on it, and then once you stack 5 of them on top of each other. So, I mean, that, at some point, we're gonna be paying that 200,000 a year anyway. So, I don't know that the capital revolving saves us a lot. I mean, it will over a couple of years.
I'm just thinking it might buy her some time to figure out her partners and who's
Right.
going to figure out a payment plan or a partnership on who's gonna use it and so on and so forth.
the recreation board, when they came to you, they made comment that they had seen that you had given raises and are talking about more raises, and they wanted to know if you would let them have 100,000 to give out grants if you had money.
How many employees do they have?
Well, they don't have any employees that are gonna get any money. They don't have any employees. They just wondered if they could give out grants, if we had money, to give out money for them.
You don't have one.
I say yes.
Or any amount, I mean,
They're asking.
they asked if they could have 100, it said, but if you have any money,
What's your recommendation? If any.
No. Not really sure.
50.
Have 100, I have 50,
And you have a note.
I have no.
They do good things with the money. That's,
Do we have it?
1.6 million, it just depends on where you want to spend it.
Really? Yeah, 50,000, good.
Right, cheapskates, 100 grand. We used to do 250, 300 grand for grants around the county. It benefits a lot of outdoor recreational folks.
yeah. Can you change your mind?
Yeah,
Squeaks.
100,000.
My mind. You'll change yours.
100,000.
100,000?
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
he's a good boy.
Guys.
You guys want, I'll bring the
No,
cheese
no.
next week.
Yeah, no kidding. Little cheese
Oh
in
my
that
God.
wine.
Tell everybody no, and then I was like, well,
Right.
well.
Okay.
I'm gonna jump to something that's not on your list, before we go into the other couple ones that I have on there. So the library, and if I get this wrong, I see Anita's in the room, so she'll speak up and straighten me out here, but I believe I heard they had 100,000 that they had been using for the mineral stabilization fund last year, and 100,000 from the foundation. They had asked the foundation, but I believe they asked if you would allow them at least to have to use their mineral stabilization fund. Which would mean then we would not include it in their revenue, so that would change their overall budget. And I
We'd
didn't
have to
change the
review.
budget, but well, it does, because then it'd be more tax dollars when it comes into
It'd
the.
be an infusion of 100,000 from us
Pretty much,
to
yeah.
make up for the foundation
Right,
from last year.
right, is that right?
Basically, I mean, so I've made the request to the foundation again, and they haven't decided yet.
Yeah.
But it would really, you know, even if we asked them for 50,000 and did 50 from our mineral fund, you know, they had to sell some stock in order to meet the grant, operations grant for this year. So if we can give them some relief, that would be great.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
So I think we tightened pretty tight last year around rent. And I think we're seeing the benefit of what we did without squeezing the amount of extra reserves that we put in. I think it'd be a goodwill with the library foundation for us to put that 100,000 back in. We can afford it. We got the room. We don't know what's gonna happen after, after November, in legislature next year. But for this year, I say we got the room, let's do it. That's me.
Mr. Fabricius.
Where would this money go?
To the
Back
library.
into collections before, or we took it out of before, we took money out of collections.
It's just gonna go into their,
You go,
it's going into their revenue. It doesn't change their budget. It's just how they fund their programs. It doesn't change their budget up. It just says, instead of the foundation, however they decide to do that, not use all their mineral money and maybe get 50,000 from, however they work it out, then the 100,000 ends up being in this part of the budget. When you look up here of what the tax amount, this is gonna be 100,000 higher.
Okay. Let me look at that.
Because I'll be short that much money. At the very top. So on the far end, right-hand side, they're the third one down. So right now, we're going to support through the taxes, 809,167 or 87. Stop, that's it. But that would be 909,000, basically.
So
And then,
tax funds to come back. Well, I'll wait till he gets done.
does that take it up to that $1,023,000? Their budget?
It does not
It
change
changes
their
that
budget, just changes how much the taxpayer has to pay for the library.
it'll just bring up change their revenues,
Okay,
not the overall, but just the revenue.
okay. So we need to put 100,000 there, is that what you're saying?
Well, that's the suggestion, is 100,000.
Okay, we'll put 100,000 there, Mike. And then you would recommend it?
That's what I recommend.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah, we'll put it on.
okay. Mr. Thomas.
I'm agreeable to 100,000 if there's civility and peace and harmony.
Yeah,
I say if it's money from the taxation of the people, then the people are gonna say, hey, behave. That's all I'm asking, behave. Let's get some work done, let's get some progression done, and let's stop all the argument.
Blessings on the old wives.
Well, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Number 10, I'm digressing here a little bit, but, number 10, still need to talk about economic development funds, 1.9 million. Do you use it? And where do you use it? May want to give ideas, then ask for comments in one of your other meetings before the public hearing so that people can hear what you're thinking of doing with that money.
So Chairman,
Yes.
basically. What can it not be used for?
Well, that changes. Sorry, I had to give one dig.
That's been the age-old question, so, whatever is defined as economic development. In an earlier conversation I had had with the cast committee who was here today, I said, do you think it would cover the ambulance while we're waiting to see how the tax goes? And they go, absolutely it would. So there's one suggestion. I don't know whether there's other suggestions, I'm sure.
Commissioner Jones. Mr. Chairman, so back the way that the initiative was, it was defined in that initiative that went through the first time and failed the second time. And that's what those funds are from, that first time. So we still have, and it's, you sure it's 1.9? Last we looked, it was 1.6. If
We have to change.
1.9, I'm gonna raise my number. Well, so 20% of that was for air service. 10% was for transportation. And 70% was this.
1.6.
This is 1.6, thank you. Transposition, okay, so, and was for small businesses, basically. It was for actually anybody who's going to generate, it was, generate outside dollars coming into the community.
Jobs.
Save or increase jobs, retain jobs or increase job tax base. And so, that's the language that was in there. I'm, we had this long drawn conversation about ambulance. I've always, every time it's come up, have advocated that we put it for ambulance. That we could use it for ambulance.
Sure.
So we can do that, I think. I do know. And I do know that Riverton has been knocking on our door, and so has a number of FCAG about, hey, would you cover? They're gonna run out of money in September for air service. And I think both Larry and I have been asked, and we both said, yeah, we'll let you know after August. Because if the tax doesn't pass, then why would we put money into prolong it for 4 months or 5 months or whatever? So, so that, to me, that's to be determined. I will say there is one of those projects that we did fund 2 times that are still hanging out there. And that's the Riverton Hospital. They are going to plan on opening up that hospital without a kitchen, which means no dietary in-house. They can outsource it, but they will not have a functioning kitchen. They're about $600,000 shy. And I only bring it up because we've funded it twice before. We've funded it up to $400,000 before. It was right around that number. So I would like to see us consider giving them $400,000 towards that, see if we can get them a little bit closer to that. I know there are other organizations that are scrambling to try to help make up that nut. But that is my suggestion, just we little me, poor little Mr. Ambulance me.
My suggestion was, along with that it be earmarked for the kitchen upgrade.
Yeah, I would,
And only then.
I would agree with that.
Chairman, I don't have any problem with using it for the ambulance. But, I mean, like you want to put money to a horse that's lame. I mean, there's nothing there. I mean, Riverton Hospital I don't know what they're gonna do with that hospital. But, I mean, we could use that money for something else. I do agree with the ambulance. But
Or did you didn't take tour of the facility?
of the Riverton Hospital, yeah. I've been there, yeah,
Okay.
I've been there. I agree with everything but that. I agree with that, for the ambulance, but that's me.
Commissioner McCarthy, Wilson.
That's okay. I do it too. I think it needs to go towards it.
I can't hear you.
Ambulance.
It all go toward the ambulance.
Yeah, until after August. I don't wanna make any. I don't want to fork over anything else. Or
Mr. Chairman, question, we do have a shortfall in the 2026 budget for ambulance that we did on purpose that we need to make up, which is like 500,000, you said? So it's 500,000. And we would need to do that for this year's budget. That's happening.
Okay.
Because we only put 1.3, thinking we were gonna negotiate with Du Bois or cut service.
Right.
And so that we have, I think we have to fix. So
So the other thing you could do is, because you've mentioned those things, you could have it on your agenda next week, just to discuss it again. I mean, see if there's any interest out there that, so people know. It's not something necessarily that I have to do to show that our budget would balance, because then by the time we get to the 30th, we can figure out what you really want to do and move your numbers wherever you want. Just want you to be thinking about that. We've been holding that money for a couple of years, and I just feel like we need to move on with that some way. So, I mean, and I knew that the ambulance was a big amount of money that we have still on our books at Fremont County, so, okay.
Commissioner Fabricius, your thoughts?
Oh, sorry.
I'd like to get this hospital up and running. 200 to 300 employees will be working there, new employees. And so I think getting this hospital up would be a good thing for economic development. Plus, that gives us some negotiating room down the road for this ambulance. To take this thing forward back with it in the future. So that's kind of how I feel.
So my thought is, I mean, I like the idea. When Commissioner Jones and I visited about it, I like the idea. I think it's gonna be a great facility, a great asset to the community. My concern is that if we give the hospital 400,000 for a kitchen, that leaves us 1.2 million left in the economic development fund. We know the ambulance is gonna cost 200 million. We have an excess for
Not 200 money, 2.
2.2 million.
Sorry.
the long.
So with that leaves 800,000 that we'll have to come up with, and we had 1.6 carryover. I mean, not carryover,
Leftover in this budget,
leftover in this budget.
1.6, so,
Yeah.
I mean, we've adjusted a few things so far, but
Right.
it's still pretty close.
So roughly that would be, with the adjustments we've made so far, it would be roughly $600,000 left in excess, because we would have to fill in the $1 million extra out of our excess. Correct, Jim?
Well, I was just gonna point out that we do have a little bit of a placeholder for money to transfer that's included in here. That's a transfer from the general fund into ambulance. And I just, in the cover of darkness, without telling the county clerk, I changed the numbers that she had in there and put in $2,250,000. I mean, thinking about 2 million for the subsidy and then $250,000 for the shortfall on dispatch fees. So that's a placeholder, and that's already built into these numbers here. So that is covered somewhat.
1.6 is cut. I mean, that's a true number that we can still work.
Within the
Yes.
county general fund.
Right.
Yeah, and that was, not knowing how whatever negotiations might pan out with with Frontier, but
All right, I was just worried, go ahead.
So Chairman, in listening, I changed my mind. I agree with Mike, 400,000.
Yes,
Yes.
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 Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman.
But
Mr. Chairman, so what I'd like to do is have you, I mean, I've heard some stuff here, so we'll just put it on the agenda to talk about Fremont County's economic development, leftover funds for budget, and we'll list ground, did I hear ground transportation? Mr. Jones? Did you say ground transportation or
did
just
not.
air service? Just air service?
I only said air service.
Air service,
Yeah,
ambulance, and the Riverton Hospital. So we could put that on the agenda so people know what you're gonna talk about. Go ahead and have one more discussion next week. Then we have the public hearing on the 29th. Anybody would like to speak to that? Or speak to you next week or whatever, however you guys want to do that, just so that you can get some input from people and it isn't a fixed price.
are we doing the 500,000 this year though?
so what you mean by ambulance? That was my
Oh,
question.
what the ambulance just to cover any extra costs of what it's costing us to do the ambulance. So you could take money from that as a rest.
From this year's budget, not next year's.
Are you saying this year?
Well, we were talking, Mr. Jones talked about the 500,000, we were short.
Oh.
The transfer from general fund. It's in the current.
I thought we already did that.
Yeah,
Okay.
That,
Okay. Yeah, we
that's
could
where,
do that. Okay,
so
we
yes,
could do
the
that.
ambulance for this covered the shortfall from this.
Okay.
Commissioner.
Mr. Chairman,
be clear that the money that we're appropriating for the hospital is for the kitchen and the kitchen only, correct?
Yeah.
And that,
All right, next thing. So retirement, we do have to do something because the law enforcement is doing their second year. Of 1.8 increase. And the public starts their first year of 2 years, half of 0.5. As a reminder, that what I gave you last time is if you continue just to do with what we've been doing, 66% county and 34% employee, you will need to add $835,726 to the budget when I go. So what I get to do is go in luckily with gravity and I just change one number and it changes everybody's stuff. Well, two numbers, law enforcement and if you wanted to, we talked about ways to help county employees put more money in their pockets. We've talked about, I just went at as a guess because right now the worst case scenario for the employees was the public side was 6.5 this year, I think. From 6.12 to 6.5 or something. Anyway, and the law enforcement is up at 7 something. Yeah, so the public employee goes from 6.12 to 6.5 for the employee. Law enforcement goes from 7.07 to 7.68. To give you an idea for employees of how that looks, so currently for a person in law enforcement that makes $55,000, currently $3,917 goes towards their retirement. Again, that is their own money. But if you go to just move it up to the next number, that's 7.68, there would be another 300-ish, $340 more taken out of their check to go towards that. If you did like a reduction to 5% to your employees, that gives them a 2.68 reduction, or actually a 2.07 reduction. They would go from the 3,900 to 2,700, giving themselves about a $1,200 more in their pocket. And if you went to 4%, then it drops it from the 3,917 to 2,216, making it a $1,700 reduction. Those have consequences for you or us as a county, as the 5% on and the public employee, I should do that one too. So the public employee is $41,000 Salary, they pay 2509 out of their pocket to their retirement. It would go up about $160 to the regular way. If it was reduced to the 5%, it gives them about a $500 reduction. If you go to 4%, it's about a $900 reduction, or, help to them in their pocket. If the county were to go to the 5% overall, so that both the law enforcement and public employees pay the same amount, then that's 1.2 million, over almost 1.3 million to the county. And if you went clear down to 4, it would be 1.4 million to do that. The reason I even brought that up is because, again, we are the second highest in the state for what you make your county employees pay. Again, it was back during the days when we were trying to figure out if we're gonna have furlough days or lay off people or whatever, when it was bad, worse it was last year, actually. And we asked the employees, what do you want to do? And explained that retirement is their money. And they overwhelmingly said, yes, we'll pay for our own retirement. I just bring it to your attention because a lot of counties do pay completely all of it. But Fremont County has always said, for the health insurance and for our retirement, we need to have skin in the game as employees and know what the cost is to the county and to the taxpayers that do pay this. So I didn't drop it any lower than that because it's significant. I mean, you could eat up that entire 1.6 almost just with this. It does put money in their pocket, but it doesn't change the SOC range. So keeping that in mind, and Commissioner Allen asked us to look at $3,000 per person, full-time, 1,500 part-time or prorated. Luckily, again, gravity's great. I just go in, I changed it all up. It showed me what this looks like, and it came back and said that doing a $3,000 per employee, because it's really what is in our program here is what everybody told us they have for employees. That's $883,080, and that includes the benefits that goes with it. That does increase your SOC number. Like all of us who've been trying to shoot for that 25%, likely it's gonna push us into there. Because I think so many people I'm hearing while watching this in the last couple of weeks, they're all close to either at 25 or at least somewhere in that area. 5,000 for sure would do that. 5,000, I looked at that as well. And that's $1,221,517. So those are the decisions you guys have been talking about, thinking about.
So with $3,000, would that be added to the SOC adjustments that we just approved? That would be added.
It's like a COLA for everybody is the way I understood it. Because if you just give it to the ones who didn't do any adjustments to their SOCs, then their numbers, then they drop back down.
Well, I'm just thinking like transportation. All their got approved for SOC adjustment today.
Right.
The assessor's office
Ours
and
is
your office and Jim's office are all increased, and I believe you went to average 3,200 on frontline workers or starting salary.
Ours was a little bit more, but that was just to get our base. I mean, and that's what I'm hearing too, is that some of these people were just trying to get their base up. So I don't know what happens if you pick and choose on that, but I looked at it going like this for the entire SOC system, but
You got
Mr. Chairman, just question, so the 3,000, it's about 1.2 price tag?
the 3,000 is 883,000. You remember retirement, you're gonna pay something.
I'm sorry.
$883,080 is the 3,000 per year. And you are gonna have to do something on retirement unless you make us pay it all or something. So just remember that.
Okay, what does that mean? We're gonna have to do something in return.
Well, I mean, the retirement, the county pays them a line share of that. So if you just do what we've been doing, your cost on that is $835,726. Yeah, if you do those two together, it's the 1.6, 1.7.
There,
Yeah.
I don't see any problem with, B on the retirement, the issue of, 5%. But the COLA, we're already doing SOC increases. Why would we want to add another 3,000? I mean, we're already doing SOCs for everybody across the board. So I do believe in the 5%, but as for COLAs, we're already doing SOC increases for everybody.
So, I mean, that's a good point. We've done, I mean, are there any departments that we haven't discussed as far as SOC adjustments?
There's probably
We have
some in this year.
finalized maintenance,
Right.
building maintenance here. So that wasn't a big number.
I mean, pretty much everyone has got an SOC adjustment.
Over the last year. I have to go back and
We
look for
did.
sure, over the whole year,
We didn't do museum and library.
if they had any, you know.
So we did the SOC adjustment in 2024. And so if we had a recent SOC adjustment, we adjusted our wage charges, which is why I did put in a request, because I felt like we had already done that. You're there.
It moves. Because everybody else moves up, the SOCs change. That's why everybody came back and took another look at it.
So going back to this sheet here, Julie.
Yes.
Is there something in there that we will set aside another 300,000 for SOC adjustments?
Yes. I included it and I said, that's up to you guys if you want to keep it. Same with capital revolving. I don't necessarily think we need the specific 65 there, but we didn't use it last year, but the 300,000, I haven't dipped into that again this year. Budgets have been, well, that's not true. I did for the coroner, that was the only one because she couldn't sustain. She got hers on early on. It's pretty, and then, so that was for the whole year, it means it's difficult, but nobody else has used it. The sheriff won't use it for what they just did, and transportation won't use it because they can get those out of the balancing account. That's a good point. What you're thinking too is like, why do we have 1.6 million? Well, we got 1.1 million through the forest reserve. So we got last year's payment and then we budgeted, well, we got 1.1 and then they're gonna have another 500,000 that we're estimating to get this year, which last year we didn't expect it at all. And then it came in.
So I know I'm jumping around here, but with retirement thoughts. If we go with the 5%, they'll get an additional $2,000 back on a $41,000 salary,
Is that right?
$2,050
On what? I'm sorry.
on the retirement thoughts.
Oh, yeah, if you increase their salaries, then it depends on what you have them pay as to whether they'll pay out more or less.
So this would be the 5%.
Yeah, this is based on what people currently were making when I did this.
Okay.
So like some of the newest SOCs are not in there.
Okay.
So if if you add a COLA or anything like that, then that might change that number. And here's what we can do. So we can balance this by putting in the cash reserve. We can put all this, whatever after we're done fixing all the things we just did today. We could put the rest in the cash reserve as just like another placeholder that says, hey, we're gonna do this year, but we want to talk about it for the next 2 weeks, because that's the bad part of this. I have to advertise so early to get it where I need to be. And you can still talk about this next week some more. I mean, you can ask me to try to run something else. You could ask me to do half of this, half of that, or whatever, but we could do that so we could balance the budget and get it advertised.
Chairman,
Yes,
couldn't we, cause like I said, I agree with the 5%. Couldn't we go with the 3,000 for those departments that didn't bring an SOC? If they never bring an SOC to us, then they're the only ones that get that COLA. And the rest are just going by SOC increase.
We're saying SLC in this fiscal year? Is that what I would ask then? Okay.
Yeah.
I could ask people that and then they have to readjust that number.
Because if they don't bring it to the table, then their department gets the 3,000 COLA. Their employees.
What is the price now? What's the price?
well, that's, I mean, I think of that, and I think about one of the requests we had earlier about the SOC adjustments. One of the employees only got 2,000, I believe.
No, I had one today for
Yeah,
1,000.
1,000, yeah.
600 for one.
Mr. Chairman, oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Hutchison.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not out of line in saying this. Just in regards to the SOC discussion, the sheriff did not bring any SOC adjustment requests for our dispatch center for our communications officers. When we compared them to the SOC classification of the salary study, they were already in the mid to upper level of the 25th percentile, and our instructions were to try to stay within that 25th percentile. So there weren't any, the sheriff didn't bring any requests for those employees. And just something to consider if there isn't a further adjustment made somewhere with the increase in insurance costs and retirement costs to the employee. Those employees that didn't see an SOC adjustment will see a net reduction in pay if there isn't something else done to offset that. So I'm not out of line in stating that, but just something to consider. Those employees that were already in that mid to upper level of the 25th percentile, the sheriff didn't bring a request really higher.
So I know with like the insurance increase, 1% is only minimum, yeah, it's like $6 to $8 a month, depending on which plan.
Yeah.
So that's minimum. I mean, you spend more than that going to get a soda.
And I just will say too, currently, so let's just say right now, currently, if you did nothing but did the 5% on the retirement, everybody benefits from that. There's not
Yeah,
not
I like
anybody
that.
who's going to not benefit and have more money in their pocket.
I like that.
And then what would, my question, what would that cost the county with the 5%?
That's the 1,270,000, excuse me, 1,270,813. And again, I need to probably update that with new salaries and stuff in here.
I thought that was a 1.7.
Number B, putting them down to 5%, right? Retirement,
Mhm.
that's the question. 1 million, if I told you wrong, I apologize. 1,270,813.
Yes.
The $5,000 was 1,221,517. The 5,000 per person. But my point is that we could put that in just the cash reserve and you guys can continue to put it on your budget. For our meeting next week is another work session on that as well as the economic development. Those are two things we would need to put out there and see what kind of response you're getting on. Those. I don't know.
Yeah, let's do
Matter to
that,
you?
think about it. I'm about numbered out.
Yeah.
Is there anything you're aware of that I did not put on my list that did not get addressed? I can go back over my budget minutes one more time.
I would like to consider giving the printer to board.
Oh, that's.
I know in the past, when we given them anywhere from 5,000 to 15,000. I would suggest,
I can't remember what their request was. Like 60.
I would agree with that, Mr. Chairman. $10,000.
Yeah.
What's subject?
10,000 for
For
the
the
predator
predator
board.
board.
We have been given something every year.
Well, not,
Last year.
We didn't give them anything last year, no.
it's been hit and miss, depending on if we had any extra money. But they're required by law to submit a budget request to us. So, anyway,
So you're saying put some money in there, you think, Larry?
give them, my suggestion is 10,000
Okay,
and it'll help them out.
Good.
You agreeable?
yes, I'm agreeable.
Okay.
Anything else? The request from you was 7,500. Sure. They'll probably take whatever you give them.
I'll be happy.
7,500.
I still think 10,000.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll get this to a balanced thing. I have to get it in the. By noon, so noon. On Thursday. Past it. Okay, and then we'll just put those other things on the agenda for next week for conversation purposes. If you, so I'm going to ask the departments, anybody give me the folks who did not receive any SOCs in this last year, so I can refigure some stuff for you.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's. Thank you.
And then you want to, us to go through the employee benefit and policy procedure handbooks. Is that right?
That's,
So
we
have-
wanted to make sure you guys say that you got them and sign your little paper and get it to Emma, so we can get it up to your file.
I signed
You
mine.
sign them on both sides. And then there was a little sheet that the chairman's supposed to mark off that everybody did that.
Oh, mine, Jody.
I
got the
signed
sheet.
something, but I don't think I signed it twice.
Yeah, it's both
Front and
sides.
back. One's benefits and one's the
Oh.
policy.
They had a procurement.
And then procurement one that you received your procurement book. So that's probably the one you need to still sign, is that the procurement one? Yeah, that's the procurement one, so you need to say as the chairman, you received it.
As chairman, for transparency issues, I have signed my ballot and gave it to Ed.
Thank you.
Library ballot. I voted already.
So what are we gonna do?
No, I'm gonna wait. Oh, do it now? Wait,
Suggest, if you're not ready, fill it out and we'll ask for them Monday if you're not ready. Tuesday.
That'll give us some time to think about it,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Recounts.
We'll get the leftover fund disbursement on the agenda next week along with the retirement and associated and discussed. And I'll also advertise for the vacation portion of the county road and get the comments to get started for that. And that is it.
Commissioners, anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Okay.